Ms. Fleming, you are suing the defendant for fraudulent misrepresentation because you say she deceived you and your son, Calvin, into believing her daughter, Alina, is his child. You've petitioned the court for a paternity test and are asking the court to award you $500 in expenses. Ms. Jemison, you admit you slept with another man around the time of conception, but you are certain Ms. Fleming is your child's grandmother.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Fleming, why is it so important for you to get a DNA test done today?
Your Honor, it's so important to me, first of all, because I love Adriana and I love Alina. I love Alina with all my heart. And we want to, as my family needs to know, we need to know the truth. My son has asked me several times. He explains that he does not want his family to not be certain. So that is why we're here today. And there have been several things that have taken place, and Calvin needs to have this test. He's written me letters saying that he wants to know. So I have proof here.
I would like to see that proof. Jerome, will you hand me the evidence, please? And this is?
That's a letter from him, Your Honor, that he sent me last month stating that he wants to have this test taken. So it is not just me.
The letter reads, I want a DNA test as soon as possible because I love Alina to death. And I really don't want this to get any deeper than it already is. So if there's any way I can get it done, I would really appreciate that.
Yes, Your Honor.
So he is unable to have the DNA test now?
Yes, ma'am, he's unable.
Because he's in jail, he's incarcerated.
Yes, he's incarcerated.
And so we were able to perform a grandparentage test.
Yes.
To be able to get you some answers today.
Thank you.
So what is your relationship with Alina right now?
When all of this stuff first came out, when I found out that my son could possibly be having a child, I wasn't certain. Adriana was very honest about the fact that she wasn't 100% sure. So we kept our distance, but as we've gone through and she's here and she's born and we've had reason to believe that she is ours, I've spent time with her and gotten very close to her, and I do love her.
And so, Ms. Jemison.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe there is reason to doubt it all?
Yes, Your Honor, I do believe that.
Well, please tell the court about that.
I was with somebody else. The other guy was a one-time thing. Calvin was basically staying with me.
You really believe Calvin is the father?
Yes, Your Honor, I really believe that he's the father. There's no doubt in my mind that he's not the father of Alina at all. And I know because my daughter was born with a 6-digit, and that the extra digit is genetically passed from the father's side of the family.
Your Honor, I'm a nurse, and I know that it can't just be on one side of the family. His grandmother, my son's grandmother, is a female, and if she passed the gene on to her family, how can it only be passed by a male? I know that it cannot just be passed on one side. There's also other reason with the extra digit for me to believe that this may possibly not be a genetic trait from my son, because we were in the delivery room when Adriana was having the baby. And one of her family members mentions that she has a sibling that has that was born with the same thing.
But he has a separate father. Me and my brother do not share the same father.
So what you found out, that there was a sibling that also had a 6th digit?
Yes.
And so that then fueled your doubt more?
Yes, it did. It was a whole different her after she heard that from them.
And so when you initially heard about this 6th digit, that made you believe that the child was your son?
Absolutely. And
because you knew that was a family trait?
Yes, and I allowed myself to feel wholeheartedly, and I did not restrain my feelings from that point on because I felt like this was my granddaughter.
So that was your moment where you said, this is his son.
Yes.
I'm this child's grandmother.
Absolutely.
Let me jump in.
Yes.
Let me get involved.
Right, because my son wasn't there, so I felt like I had to be there for her because he's not available.
That is admirable.
And Your Honor, I have evidence here. I was very excited about the baby. I brought on her cake for the shower. I can't wait to meet you, Alina.
I'd like to see that evidence.
I was very excited that she was coming.
She was excited. I'm not saying that she wasn't, but.
And you were truly excited?
Yes, absolutely.
You were going to be a grandmother?
Yes.
You heard about this trait, you said, okay, this is my son's child.
But there's more traits that leads that it's his daughter. She's born with a lazy eye. My daughter has a lazy eye. And I did notice a while ago that Natasha had a lazy eye in the same exact eye. And It's the same thing. And my daughter was born with dimples. His grandmother has dimples. I don't have dimples, but I don't know where the dimples come from.
Right, I don't know.
But his grandma was born with dimples. The other guy don't have dimples. He don't have an extra digit. He don't have any of that. It's more that leads to Calvin. My daughter is very long. Calvin is very long and very tall. She is very light-skinned. I am light-skinned, but I'm not as light as how my daughter is.
Beautiful little girl.
So I just know that that's his baby. And with the 6th digit, I asked the other guy about it. He told me if something's wrong with your baby, that don't run in my family. Once I heard that, I just called Calvin and I asked him. I said, does anybody in your family has an extra digit? He says yes. Then later on in the evening, his mom called and said, your grandma has the same exact digit, in the same exact hand, in the same exact spot.
Really?
That's exactly where her extra digit is. Same exact hand, same exact spot. And I've been with Calvin for 2 years now, on and off, messing around with him. And I just know that that's his baby.
I don't see the resemblance. The baby looks just
I do.
like
I
her
see the
mother.
resemblance. She does
And
look
I
just like me,
don't
but
see the
she does has features that points to him.
Ms.
She has
Fleming,
it
you've
on her.
brought
Those are
a
his
witness
lips.
today. I'd
I
like to
have.
hear from her. Please stand, ma'am. State your name.
Markia Elliott,
Markia, you are,
his sister.
all right. And so, ma'am, what do you know about this situation?
Let me first say that me and my brother are the closest out of all of my siblings. You know, we're only 18 months apart. So, you know, he was calling me and things of that nature, and I would come get him and Adriana if he needed me to. So I know that he was with her at times, but I've heard rumors in the beginning, not even from him, saying that, you know,
Exactly.
she was loose. And
I was not loose. I was not loose.
I
I
know
was
for
single.
a fact. I don't know why she's so adamant, because she states herself that she slept with other people.
I
So
slept with one
where
other
does
guy. Yes,
how
not
do you,
other people, just one other guy.
It takes one time to make a
Okay,
baby.
you're right.
You say he didn't want to be with her for specific reasons. What reasons?
She did have a boyfriend, and she was still dealing with
No,
him.
me and my ex-boyfriend were long over with before.
You broke up because
I
of
broke
him
up with
too.
my boyfriend for
You
Calvin.
broke-
I
okay,
wasn't.
Okay, so you were messing
No,
with
but
him.
I
You don't
wasn't
even
messing around with my
mess with.
ex-boyfriend anymore. It's no
Oh,
way
okay.
that it's his at all.
Okay. I knew for a fact the date of conception, you had sex with someone else, and he was with other people, she was with other people. It's just very messy.
So it was like an open relationship
Yeah,
with no
basically-
commitment. Both were
basically-
sleeping with other
friends.
people.
Yeah, they were best
Yeah,
friends.
they were friends.
And
They
if
were
she's
friends.
getting pregnant by her best friend, who knows?
Before all this happened, Markia knew nothing about me. She didn't really know me. She just heard hearsay. I never really conversated with her, and it's still like that to this day because it's just tension and animosity between each other because of what she's heard. So she never really liked me.
That's what my
But once she wrote that, I can't wait for her to get here, I was kind of, excited, like, okay, Markia might come up to see her when I had her. Markia was nowhere to be found. She never came up there. She never texted me congratulations, but she was on Facebook saying she couldn't wait for her niece to get here.
Okay, I said that, and then after that, at the hospital, when my mom was there until 3 o'clock in the morning with
You're right.
you,
Your mom
going
was there with me.
Okay, let me
I am very
speak, let me
appreciative of your mom
speak,
being there
let
with me. I'm not
speak,
saying.
Let me speak.
Speak.
She went to work the next day, sleepy as ever. She's doing all of this, and she calls me crying, saying that she finds out that her sibling had an extra finger also, and this is something that I believe that she was told. I don't believe that.
I was not.
Listen, lady.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Markia, what you're saying is you believe she always knew there was a family member on her side that also had the 6th finger.
Yes, I think
but
that
was
it's
hiding that
inevitable.
information
Yes.
purposefully.
Yes.
Miss Fleming, in that moment when you heard about her family member also having the 6th finger, that was the moment you began to
Dropped
doubt.
to my feet.
She was so
I
different.
had everything in me
Good.
that it
She
took
should.
to
That's good.
stay
That's
there
okay.
the whole time because I was like, what do I do? Do I stay or do I go? And now I'm back at 50-50 again. So when the baby's born, I'm looking for anything. I'm grasping for straws. Does she have his fingers? Does she have his toes? Does she
Right.
have anything? But I can't find anything. So the very next day, I went up to the hospital and I sat down and I told Adriana and I talked to her mother and said, we're going to have to do a DNA test. I'm a very black and white person. I can't deal with gray. I can't not know, and it's not fair to her. She's beautiful. She has to know. It's not right.
You submitted a statement from your son. It reads, no one on my side of the family sees a resemblance in Alina, so there's a very high doubt that she's not mine. I don't really know, but I strongly believe and want her to be mine. I love her. I just don't see a future with her if Alina is not mine. Her meaning Miss Jemison. He doesn't see a future with Miss Jemison if Alina is not his.
I think he'll have a hard time getting over the fact that she's not his. He wants nothing more. He wants nothing more in this
He
world.
really and truly
He
wants.
really and truly wants it. And he told me that he feels like the baby is his. He doesn't feel like she's not his. He doesn't like the tension. He doesn't want the tension between the two.
It's only them that don't see that that's his baby.
His family
I've taken
believes
her
that.
to his
Father's
previous
side.
jobs. I've taken her out anywhere, and people that know what he looks like and then know what I look like, when I first brought her home, when people seen her, they like, wow, she looks like both of you. She looks like you, but you could see Calvin. I brought him to his job. She's like, wow, she looks just like him, but she looks like you. Like, there's a resemblance that they look alike, but she favors me more. My mom has genes like that.
Jemison, you've brought a witness. I'd like to hear from him. Sir, would you stand, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Stand at the podium. And your name?
My name is Calvin Carthon Sr.
You are. So you are Mr. Carthon's father,
Yes, I am.
and you are standing next to Miss Jemison.
Yes, I am. And the reason being is because I'm in full support of Adriana. I would represent my son and my son wishes, and I know he would be here with her right now as we speak. And that's why I'm here.
So you believe
Your Honor, he hasn't
that
talked to
your
my son.
son's belief
Your
that
Honor, he
I
hasn't
haven't.
talked to my son since my son has gotten arrested.
No,
He
that's
hasn't
not
talked
true.
to
He
him.
spoke to him last week. I put him on a three-way.
Oh,
He
Yeah.
spoke to
that
his
was the
son.
first time in
I've
6
spoken.
months. I'm sorry.
So, Mr. Carthon, you believe your son is the father. You believe Alina is your grandchild.
Well, Your Honor, we have to first keep in mind that there is a young child at stake here, you know, the future of this young child, regardless of what, whether CJ is the biological father or not.
I am too, but I feel like we still have to have the truth and we have to know, regardless.
I have no objection.
So, Ms. Fleming, I want to take a moment and understand your lawsuit. You are suing for $500 in expenses for items you've purchased for Alina. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you bring proof of any of those expenses?
No, Your Honor. After we discussed it, and I just had a hard time pulling things together and to even move forward in that direction with trying to tally what I've done for her. At the end of the day, it's not about the financial aspect of it. It's about the baby. So yes, we did talk about that, but I have a very hard time attempting to pursue that because I care about her. I care about the baby, and whatever I gave her is hers.
So, Ms. Fleming, are you saying you'd like to withdraw your claim?
Yes, ma'am. I just want to know if this is my baby.
So that claim is dismissed. I think at this point, the best thing to do is go to the results. It's time. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. As I mentioned early, in order to determine if Alina is the child of Calvin Carthon Jr., we performed a grandparentage test using your DNA, Ms. Fleming and Mr. Carthon Sr. It will basically determine the relatedness of the grandparents to the child, okay? In the case of Fleming v. Jemison, in the case of Fleming v. Jemison, pertaining to 3-month-old Alina Carthon, it has been determined by this court, Ms. Fleming and Mr. Carthon are not related to Alina Carthon.
I was hoping I was wrong.
I'm sorry I was not able to give you all the answer you wanted.
We're going to be 100% behind her regardless.
Adriana.
Ms. Jemison, I do have to ask, are you certain this other gentleman is her biological father?
Yeah. I hate him. He's horrible. Horrible.
I have to deal with him, Adriana.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm so embarrassed.
It's okay. It's okay. We're gonna take care of her.
Oh my God.
Here, baby, it's okay.
Oh, Marky, I'm sorry, but it is the other guy's baby. I'm sorry, but I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Mr. Mr. Montgomery, according to my court documents, you claim the defendant is a liar, and you admit to poor judgment when you slept with her. There have been rumors that she is known for pinning babies on men, and you open your case today because you now have doubts. You fathered her 3-year-old daughter, Nariah. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Dabney, you claim the plaintiff is a weak, gullible man and is only doubting your daughter because of his meddling family. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Montgomery, what was the nature of your relationship? How did you all meet?
A mutual friend.
He say it's a mutual friend,
There was never a relationship between the two of us.
So how did you meet her, Mr. Montgomery?
Through a
He
mutual
inboxed
friend,
me on Facebook.
he gave me her number.
He gave you my number. He never had
I don't know her.
never had my number, Your Honor.
One at a time. You say a friend of yours gave you
Her number. He told
So
me.
what, you saw her and you said, she looks pretty, I want to have her number?
No, he just told me about a girl that was easy that he used to fool with. And so he gave me the number. I went over there. We hung out maybe once or twice. There was never a relationship. There was never a
His
conversation
story don't
about a
even make
relationship.
sense. That don't even make sense. He inboxed me on Facebook. It was like, yeah, I see how you doing your own thing. You keep a job, you take care of your daughter, whoop-de this, whoop-de that.
false.
Boom, after all that, he ended
That's
up
false.
hitting me back up. That's when I had gave him my number.
That's false.
We was testing for a cool little minute. Then he asked, can he come chill? I was like, yeah, you come chill. We'll go to my homegirl house and chill because I didn't want him to know where I stay at. We go to my homegirl's house and chill, talk, do this, do that. He told me he was gonna pull up on me, but he didn't pull up on me. He walked up on me. Like, he didn't even have a car.
That's false.
He didn't have a car. I didn't have a car either, but if I'm pulling up on somebody, I'm not gonna walk to their house.
So if you say you're gonna pull up on me, then
Yeah,
pull
he
up in
walked up
something.
on me, yeah.
But he walked up.
Yeah, because he didn't have a car. So after that, we chilled over my homegirl house. We chilled for a couple hours or whatever. He was like, can you walk me to the gate? So I was like, yeah, I'll walk you to the gate. I walked him
That's
to the
false.
gate. We sit there, we talked for a little bit. After that, he went home. I went home or whatever. And then after that, we was texting like for a couple of hours, probably to like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. From the time I met him all the way up to the time we was texting, he was asking me to give me oral sex. And I kept telling him, no. So
That's
here
false.
it is, probably about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. He was like, can I come
That's
over and we
false.
can chill and I can pop in this history movie. It was a black and white movie and we can, chill whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not tripping.
That's
So boom,
false.
he ended up coming over
That's
and then
false.
he pops it in, we sitting there chilling. I'm on my phone the whole time because I'm not interested in no history movie. I'm not in school no more. So after that, like, boom, like an hour or so had rolled past or whatever. So he had asked me again. He was like, can I give you some oral? And I'm like,
That's false.
yeah, let's go
That's
ahead and do it.
false.
So one thing led to the next.
That's false.
Boom, after he did that, we ended up messing around. After we messed around, he ended up spending the night. The next day, we woke
I've
up, I'm
never
like, what you
spent the
finna
night
do?
over her house.
Like,
I've
then
never
after
spent the
that,
night
we
over her
didn't
house.
talk. We didn't talk for like another 3
I've
to
never
4
spent the
months.
night
And
with her.
then throughout them 3 or 4 months we didn't talk, I found out I was pregnant.
All right. You got me there. Take a breath. Okay? We will not accuse you of not being ready to testify, Ms. Dabney.
Right?
You are ready. But I want to understand Mr. Montgomery's side. I want you to respond to this, sir. You've heard the account Ms. Dabney has laid out for the court.
Now everything she's saying is false. When we fooled around, I did go over there that night. There was a movie on. She wasn't interested in it. I've never offered her oral sex.
Oh my God.
Before the child, I'll be specific, I never said it, because even after the child was conceived, we didn't do what we didn't did after the child was born. But before the child was born, it was a one-time thing. She told me she was pregnant. I told the mutual friend who introduced, told me about her. He was like, bro, don't believe her, she be lying. I told her I didn't believe her.
You
No,
inboxed me on Facebook,
I
but
did
that's not him
I did
introducing
not.
us. So what are you
Okay,
talking
but
about?
regardless, you all were intimate.
Yeah.
And what I want to understand is, Mr. Montgomery, did you use protection when
No,
you were
I did not.
intimate? Okay, so you meet her, and for the first time, you say you don't even know her. You have unprotected sex with her.
Yes, I did.
And so then you say it was just a one-night stand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Miss Dabney, tell me about the moment you found out you were pregnant. Take me to that day. What happened?
Okay, so when I found out I was pregnant, I didn't tell nobody because I don't like people in my business. So I found out I was pregnant, and then I ended up dating this other dude or whatever. So then Richard ended up hitting me up one day, and then he tried to make it seem like, well, I wasn't trying to mess with you and then just bounce on you like Like we just messed around and I just left. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, oh, it's cool. Well, I found out I was pregnant like a month and a half ago. He was like, oh, for real? Well, we'll talk about that tomorrow because I guess he was doing something or whatever. So the next day we ended up talking on the phone. The next day we ended up talking on the phone and then, so he was like, well, you're gonna have to show me some proof that it's mine. I was like, I'm not showing you nothing. You could come to a doctor's appointment with me. That's your proof right there. So then somehow we ended up getting off the phone. So I tried to call him the next day to see if you coming to a doctor's appointment. He blocked me on his phone. Then I tried to contact him on Facebook. He blocked me on Facebook. So through my whole 9 months of pregnancy, I didn't talk to Richard at all. Like, not even a text message, a phone call, no nothing.
Okay, wait a minute. Did you tell this other guy?
Yeah, I had told the other guy that he was the father because he was doing for me. So I'm like, well, I'm already getting in good. So if I tell him that I'm pregnant by him, but I was already pregnant before we even got together.
She looking for a come up.
So if I
But you told, even though you knew you were pregnant before you got with this new guy, you told that guy he was the father?
Yes.
Or were you truly confused about it?
No, I knew who my baby father was. I just told him he was the father because we was together and I didn't want him to think, you know, but it was just awkward at the time. Which I should never.
So you had this other guy believing he was Naraya's biological father.
Your Honor.
And he accepted it.
Yes.
Was he with you for doctor's appointments?
No, because we end up breaking up.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. When's the first time Mr. Montgomery even met Naraya?
Naraya, okay, so I had her, and then my grandmother was like, well, you're not gonna tell her father that you had her. I was like, no, because he ain't been here this whole 9 months, so why tell him now? Then I sit up there and thought about it. I'm still in the hospital. So then I sit up there and I thought about it. I was like, okay. So I end up hitting up his brother, and I was like, well, I had a whole baby by your brother, by Richard, he don't even know.
A whole baby?
A whole baby. I had a whole baby by your brother, and he don't even know.
As if there could be a half a baby?
That wasn't even a response.
So he ended up.
Of course, it's a whole baby.
Yeah.
That wasn't even a response.
So I ended up. He was like, "Well, can you send me some pictures?" I'm like, "All right, cool." Sent him some pictures. So then he called me back. He like, "Yeah." He like, yeah, she look just like me. She got my nose, this, that, and the other. After that, he was like, when y'all getting out the hospital? I was like, we're getting out the hospital tomorrow. So after we got out the hospital, he shot over there. He ran to my apartment and came and seen her, was holding her for a long time. So I'm like, why is you looking at her like that? Because she looked just like me. But now all of a sudden, she's not yours just because I be telling you.
She look like her
every
oldest
time
daughter.
we get into it, she look like my oldest daughter too, but she look more like you than she look like her. Every time we get into it, yes, I do say she not yours because I be mad at the moment.
That's why we're here.
Because I be mad at the moment. But 3 years later, you want a paternity test, you let your family hype you up.
I need my proof.
You let your family hype you up.
You've told that child I was dead.
All right.
She's told that child I was dead.
Sure did.
What?
Yeah.
And that was this year.
I don't like him.
That was this year.
I don't like him. I don't like him.
You still don't do that to your child. I don't care how much you don't like him, Miss Dabney, and you know that's wrong. You
Yeah,
don't
it
tell
is wrong,
if
but I don't.
If that you say that is your child's father, you don't tell the child. I mean, Naraya's 3.
Right.
And listen, it's obvious you all don't care too much for one another. But, unfortunately, I wish you would have realized that before you had sex and made a whole person.
Right.
As you would say. I wish you would have surveyed to get to know the whole person. Then you would have decided whether this is somebody I want to lay down with, make a baby with, co-parent with, and spend the next 20 years with. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is when you have a baby with somebody. Mr. Montgomery, you're saying at first you took on the responsibility, but every time she got angry, she said you weren't the dad.
Yes, ma'am.
People were telling you things. So then you started to doubt. At what point do you really start doubting?
All the multiple times her saying that she's not mine, when she told me that the child was dead, the text messages that I have, where she told me that her and her boyfriend decided I can't see the child.
The child was dead. What
is this?
Talking about?
This is from me asking Miss Dabney.
May I see that, Jerome?
That's
you pass me that evidence.
This was from July of this year.
July.
I have the message in my phone. It's put up, but I have the message.
And so this evidence you submitted to the court is what? A text exchange?
Me asking if I could talk to Naraya and her telling me that her and her boyfriend decided I can't see her.
After months, you finally asked to talk to her.
No, that's false. I went from seeing this child every weekend on my off days for the last 2 years.
Weekend.
Like I said, every weekend from seeing this child on my off days to I've only seen this child maybe 6 times this year.
So you say, can I talk to Naraya? And she responds, me and my boyfriend agree on her not speaking to you, so have a nice life.
Yes, ma'am. And so I need to know, because if this is my child, I don't want to continue playing these games with her.
No, you can't play these games.
He been playing games, so all of a sudden you want to
Again,
see
there
you're
it
a
is.
child.
Again.
But she's not.
No, I'm saying the truth is both of you all are in a tit-for-tat game and Naraya's losing. Because if what you say is correct, Miss Dabney, and this is her biological father, I'm telling you, she's 3 right now. 20 years from now, she don't want to hear no nonsense about how her mother and her father couldn't really get along and that's why she don't know her daddy. No, nobody wants to hear all that. And so all the stuff that adults talk back and forth about, like it seems like it's of supreme importance, that you all can't stand one another and I just don't even want to see him, it's childish.
Your Honor.
It doesn't do anything for the child. You're making her lose out. And I don't know. I don't know if it's his child or not, but the point is he's established a very real relationship with the child.
Because of me.
And listen.
Because
See?
I always,
That's the
I
problem.
always
She
be the
tries
one
to
who
control
drop off.
something.
I always be the one.
She
text
just got
her,
a car when she
"Can I
got her
drop Mariah
taxes.
off?"
She
What?
just got a car when she got her taxes.
I had a car
You
before
just got
that.
a car.
I had a car before that,
You
but
just
you don't
got a
have a
car.
car. But you don't have
Since
one.
March.
But you don't have
Since-
one.
yeah, my car
But
broke down
if
in
I
March.
had a car way before that.
Hold on. So
Right or wrong?
the bottom line is
You can't
you're
even
now
buy
at
a
a point
purchase.
where you're doubting paternity.
Yes, ma'am.
What are your hopes? Do you hope that you are her biological father?
Yes, ma'am, this is my first child.
It is.
Yes, ma'am.
So you really want her to be your baby.
Yes, ma'am.
And what are your hopes today, ma'am?
I can't make her stop loving him. So I have no choice but to let them spend time together. Like, I still let them spend time together. It's just when we get into it, you won't be seeing her probably for a couple of weeks to a month.
No, she don't.
Because I hold
been-
grudges. I hold grudges for a long time. That's just me.
Yeah.
But even though when I do get over them, you still see her. Or maybe sometimes I won't hold a grudge. I'll still hit you up and
But
be like, "Do you
a
want her?"
child,
or
hold on, Miss
whatever.
Dabney, hold on. I don't know what universe you're living in, and it's upsetting me because you have so much charisma. Like, you're a beautiful woman, you have so much charisma, you're strong, you can speak confidently about, but I don't want to hear you speak confidently about some nonsense. I don't care what it is. If you say that's her daddy, she should be able to see him. But you know what? The bottom line is Mr. Montgomery doesn't know if he is.
Well, that's
He
his
feels
problem.
like he's doubtful because you said to him, this isn't your child.
I do too much for my kids.
So what's upsetting you?
Don't put on them fake waterworks, man.
Doing this on my own. No, none of my
You
kids
ain't
supposed to
doing it
help
on your own.
besides my oldest. He don't do nothing, so
That's false.
that's why I keep my kids away from their fathers because they don't help
That's
do
false.
nothing. Why
That's
should I have
false.
my kids
Don't put
be
on the
around
fake
somebody
waterwork.
that don't help them do nothing,
Don't put
that
on the
don't help me
fake
do
tears,
nothing
man.
at all? I pay
fake.
all my bills.
That's fake.
I pay all my bills. I take care of my kids. He don't help do nothing. If I call him and be like, I'm $50 short on the electric bill, oh, that ain't my house.
When your
But
electric got
daughter
cut off,
stay
you
over
spent
here.
the night
But
at my
your daughter
house.
stay over here.
When your bill
But
got cut off, you
daughter
spent the night
stay
at my
over here.
house.
Like, every time I do call myself trying to
When
ask
your
him for
electric
help,
was off,
I
you stayed
get
in my
no
house.
help from him.
You spent the night at my house when your
I
electric
guess
was
no
off.
help from him at all. So
That's false.
All right, so listen. This was such a great example of what I know is happening daily. And I'm gonna say this to you. I'm gonna say this to you as well, Mr. Montgomery, from the perspective of a very strong woman, because I am strong too. Sometimes our strength becomes our defense mechanism. In the moment, she started to express a real vulnerability. For the last 30 minutes, Miss Dabney, she act like she was, the #1 leader in the fight of the Game of Thrones. This woman could not be, no, I'm serious. The strength, the this, he ain't doing this, I'm doing this. It was all of that. The moment she showed one bit of vulnerability and said what she feels like as a mother, right or wrong, you didn't even listen to her. And I don't know what this envelope says. I'm about to get these results for you all right now. But what I do know is if we keep communicating the way we are now, Naraya doesn't stand a chance. 20 years from now, she gonna be standing here. This cycle's gonna repeat itself. And that's why we come here. We come here to break generational curses and cycles like this. So let's get to breaking. Jerome. Thank you, Jerome. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Montgomery versus Dabney, when it comes to 3-year-old Nariah Dabney. It has been determined by this court, Mr. Montgomery, you are the father. That's your beautiful little girl and your firstborn child. That's her.
Thank you.
Makes you emotional to look at her now that you know for sure?
Because I don't see her, man. I want to spend more. I want to be a father. I want to be in this child's life. But when she gets upset, she keeps her from.
We're not going there. We're not going there.
You're right, I apologize.
We're done in that place.
I apologize.
I don't play that game because that's the game where Nariah loses.
I just want to be in my baby's life, that's all.
That's what I want to hear.
I want her to meet my side of the family. That's all. That's all I care about.
But listen, that's the start. Your honest feelings. I just want to be in my baby's life.